everyone, my name is My Hope is in Him, and this video is called The Book of the Law. The Bible speaks of a book that is called the Book of the Law, the Book of the Covenant, the Book of the Law of God, the Book of the Law of the Lord, and the Book of the Law of Moses. Have any of you ever wondered what was really contained within this book that Moses placed in the side of the ark that was to be a witness against the people? Do we have to sit there and guess what was contained within the book of the law? Or turn to a man's interpretation about it? No. I believe the Bible interprets itself. In this video, I hope to reveal exactly what was contained within this book. In the following clips, I will show you verses that will reveal to you exactly what is contained within the book. First, let's read a little bit about what God says regarding this book. In Deuteronomy 28, 58, and 59, it says, "If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance." The New Testament also tells us, in Galatians 3:10, "For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse, for it is written, Cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law, to do them." In Exodus 24, 4 and 7, he says, "And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he took the book of the covenant, and read in the audience of the people, and they said, All that the Lord has said will we do, and be obedient." In Deuteronomy 31:26, "Take this book of the law, and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee." In these verses, we learn that the book of the law is called the book of the covenant, and was placed in the side of the ark to be a witness against the people. We learn that the words written in this book are the words of the Lord that were given to Moses. In Deuteronomy 30:10, it says, "If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul." In Deuteronomy 30:10, we see that this book of the law contains commandments and statutes. But is that all? Please turn with me to Mark 12, verse 26. "And as touching the dead, that they rise, have ye not read in the book of Moses, how in the bush God spake unto him, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Where in the Old Testament do we read about the burning bush and what God said to Moses? Turn with me to Exodus 3, verses 2 and 6. "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, but the bush was not consumed. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God." We know that the book of the law contained the story of the burning bush and the words which God said to Moses. Thus we know that the book of Exodus was part of the book of the law. Turn with me to 2 Chronicles 25:4. "But he slew not their children, but did as it is written in the law in the book of Moses, where the Lord commanded, saying, The fathers shall not die for the children, neither shall the children die for the fathers, but every man shall die for his own sin." Where in the book of the law do we read this? Turn with me to Deuteronomy 24:16. "The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sins." In this verse, we see that the book of Moses, the book of the law, contained the book of Deuteronomy. Turn with me to Joshua 8:31. "As Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of whole stones, over which no man hath lifted up any iron. And they offered thereon burnt offerings unto the Lord, and sacrificed peace offerings." Now Now turn with me to Exodus 20:25. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. So again we see confirmation that the book of the law, book of Moses, contained the book of Exodus. Turn with me to Luke 2:22. And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. Now let's go back into Leviticus 12 verse 6. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest. This is confirmation of yet another book which is contained in the law of Moses, which is the book of Leviticus. Now we have confirmation that the law of Moses contained the following books: Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. Is there anything else that was contained in the book of the law besides those 3 books? Please turn with me to 2 Chronicles 8:13, which says, Even after a certain rate every day, offering according to the commandment of Moses, on the Sabbaths and on the new moons and on the solemn feasts, 3 times in the year, even in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. Where can we read about what was offered on the Sabbaths, new moons, and solemn feasts? Turn with me to Numbers 28:9 and 11. And on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour, for a meat offering mingled with oil, and the drink offering thereof. And in the beginning of your months, you shall offer a burnt offering unto the Lord, 2 young bullocks and 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year without spot. Time won't permit me to share the whole chapter, but as you can see, the book of Numbers was contained within the book of the law as well.